Demers, who is our project manager for the construction and renovations for the upcoming year, as well as, I believe, Mr. Mark Fiorillo and Mr. Dennis Collins, who are also representing our wonderful school committee, our president as well. I'm just going to start by giving you an overview of the plans for the upcoming school year, and then we'll have an opportunity to answer any questions you may have. I just want to start that this is a one-year project, so renovations will be taking place at Cumberland Hill, as well as renovations to prepare the transitional building at the high school for us to utilize as a swing space for the school year for 2021, 2022. Just to start, the school hours will remain the same. Arrival will start at 8:45 to 9 o'clock a.m. and school starts right at 9 a.m. And then dismissal will begin at 3:20 on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Wednesday the plan is for Wednesday to be an early release day starting at 2:20. Grades K1 and 2 will be located on the main level, which is the level that is as you walk into the transitional building. It's that level right on the ground level. Grades 3, 4, and 5, as well as support personnel, will be located on the second floor, which are, support personnel is speech language pathologists, our OT, our PT, our interventionists, as well as our multi-language learner staff. Part of the construction and renovation at the transitional building, there will be a safety vestibule located right as you move in, as you enter the building to get to the main office. The main office, the nurse's office, as well as my office and guidance will also be located adjacent to that area. The students of Cumberland Hill will have their own gymnasium. They will have their own cafeteria, as well as an art and music room, and their own library and STEM area. The building itself will be treated as an independent elementary school. There will not be any access for high school students between the high school and our school for the year. Kindergartners, the incoming kindergartners will have their own playground, a brand new playground that will be adjacent to the building. Grades 1 through 5 will have an identified recess area that is located on the far end of the high school parking lot. There is a walkway that is going to be put in, like a gravel walkway, along with a protective fence to separate it from the parking lot for safety reasons. Bathrooms as well will be renovated to meet the needs of the elementary students, and kindergarten rooms, the 3 kindergarten rooms will have built-in restrooms. The biggest change I think that'll be coming is busing for students. All students will have busing, and I understand this will probably be something new for many families because of the location and where busing will be. The students will be getting on and off the bus will be right in front of our building. However, parent drop-off and pickup is going to be extremely limited, if we have it at all, because of limited parking, limited access to that back parking lot. So those are some of the changes that will be taking place at the transitional space in preparation this summer for us to be relocated there. Big question is, why the move? Why are we doing this? When I tell you I've seen the plans for Cumberland Hill, they are doing some extensive changes and improvements on our school. There will be some reconfiguration of the main office, as well as installation of a safety vestibule in the main office, in the main foyer. So you have to walk into the vestibule, and then you'll have to get buzzed into the main office. We are adding 6 additional instructional spaces in classrooms for students. There will be what we're referring to as Da Vinci rooms, which will be specialized for our art and music teachers who will have their own rooms. So there will no longer be art on a cart. We'll also have state-of-the-art shared learning commons for grade levels to work and learn together. The 3 kindergarten classrooms will have kindergarten restrooms built right in. We're also doing some reconfiguration of the support personnel spaces. So our interventionists will have their own space. Our math interventionists, our reading interventionists, our multi-language learner teachers will have their own areas. There's also plans for repairing the roof and replacing damaged ceiling tiles, as well as updating technology. So that's exciting. The ultimate goal is to return to Cumberland Hill Elementary for the 2022-2023 school year to a completely renovated and state-of-the-art school. When I say, 21st century, amazing. I've seen some of the plans, what they're doing, and part of it is they're also going to save some of the original charm of the building as the renovations continue. So some of the original work, some of the original woodworking, and those kinds of things will be saved for us to utilize. I know I just shared a lot of information, and at this point, Mrs. McMillan, who has graciously offered to field any questions, if you want to put questions in the chat box, and we can start answering any questions if there are any, I would be happy to help out. And I know if I can't answer them, perhaps Mrs. Holly Demers can.
All right, we have one question so far, Deb.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, dear. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a question about AlphaBest. Someone asked, will it be on site before and after school at the Transitional?
Thank you so much. That's a great question. And I know that was one that was being asked not only of the AlphaBest staff, but also some of the questions were going to Mrs. Jenks in the Assistant Superintendent's office. So absolutely, I've been in contact with Natalie Perrault, who's the district manager, and they will have AlphaBest on site morning and afternoon. It will be located more than likely in the cafeteria, which will be on the below level, like ground level. They'll have their own space in the cafeteria. And I believe their hours will remain the same.
All right, our next question is, where is the Transitional building?
Well, excellent. The Transitional building is when you're driving on Mendon Road near the high school. It is the round building adjacent to Cumberland High School that you can see from the road. So it's where families register their students initially for school. The business office is located there. The superintendent's office is there, as well as the special education office. So it's located on the same campus as Cumberland High School.
All right, our next question is, are there any plans to add air conditioning to the Cumberland Hill building?
Another great question. We had multiple discussions about that. And at this point, that is not something that is an option.
All right, our next question is the Transitional building bigger than the building that we are using now?
It is, so in terms of space, we have enough room, actually a little more room, because art and music will have their own classroom where now they don't. So there's slightly a little bit more space for staff. Will remain a 3-track classroom, meaning that every grade level K through 5 will have 3 different classrooms. We also have 3 individual classrooms for our students in our specialized program. And we also will have the media center, and the interventionists and special support staff will also have their own areas.
All right, the next question is, when will the decision be made about busing and parent pickup?
Well, actually, at this point, it's pretty much been made where busing will be provided to all students. And we're extremely limited in terms of where or how we could have parents drop off or pick up students safely. That's because it's a parking lot, and it's not safe to have students walking in between buses. That's something we will look at over the summer, but we're strongly encouraging children and students to take the buses, because at this point it might be where parents may need to park at Charlemont across the street and walk students to the main entrance. I mean, that's an option. We're looking at every option at this point.
All right, the next question is, where will outdoor recess be located?
So outdoor recess is located for kindergarten. There will be an area adjacent to the building. They'll have their own playground with fencing, securing that area. For kindergarten, that's kindergarten. For 1st through 5th grade, I don't know if it will be adjacent to the high school parking lot on the opposite end of the parking area for students. So because it will take an additional amount of time for students to get to the recess area, we're going to add some additional time to recess to accommodate for that.
All right, there's 2 more questions about AlphaBest that I'm kind of going to combine because they're relatively the same. It's about dropping off and picking up for AlphaBest. So will parents be able to drop off and pick up for AlphaBest?
Absolutely. I believe as long as it's outside of those key times between 8:45 and 9, where students usually transition from AlphaBest at 8:45 to class, and then again in the afternoon they can pick up at that main entrance. And we will, over the summer, we'll be putting together videos. We'll be sending out additional information so families know exactly what to expect with those kinds of things. Absolutely.
Okay, the next question is there a plan to enforce the distancing between the kids in the classroom, since next year we'll have more kids than there are now?
So I honestly don't know the answer to that. We're waiting to hear, for additional guidance from the CDC and the Department of Health, because as of right now, we still maintain some of that distancing, and as well as requiring mask wearing when anyone is in the school building. So we don't know. That's an unknown until we get additional guidance from the Department of Health.
Okay. So there's another follow-up question about that, about lunch with distancing. I'm assuming that's the same response as that. We're waiting for guidance.
We're waiting for additional guidance. Yeah.
Okay. The next question is, when will bus routes be posted online?
I would say typically within that first, I think the 2 weeks before school starts, when they typically are posted. I know Marion Barone, who has helped out so much with busing as we transition students back this year, has already been in contact with Durham to start working on those type of logistics.
Okay, the next question is, will the bus schedule remain the same for pickup and drop-off times?
I'm not sure if I understand the question, meaning for at school or for, I mean, I'm not sure if I understand the question. We're keeping the school hours the same. So, typically students will be arriving between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. So I would think the busing time should be relatively the same.
Okay, the next one is kindergarten starting the same day as the other elementary grades?
I believe what we're going to do again, they may be starting a day or two after, because we're going to be having our kindergarten soft start again, where we complete some kindergarten screenings with students. And so I believe it may be a day or two beforehand, after the other students start.
Okay, the next question is kindergarten starting the same day as, I guess that, sorry. Will 1st to 5th graders also have a playground at the transitional building?
No, they will not. So what we'll do is what we did this year, because for a large portion of the school year this year, we were not able to use the playground. So classrooms will have the class bins that will include jump ropes and kickballs and wiffle balls and tennis balls and all those kinds of activities that they can enjoy at outside recess. And Mr. Caplet and Mrs. Rogers have also been working on putting together some of our outdoor inclusion classroom activities that we can do outside for students to have physical activity.
Okay, the next question is, what time do high school students arrive, and will it affect the drop-off for Alpha Best?
High school students, that's a great question. High school students, I believe, Mike, does their day start at like 7:15?
Yeah, that's the first bell. They usually get dropped off around 6:55, between 6:50 and 7.
Okay. And I believe, what time does Alpha Best start, at 7? So it shouldn't have a significant impact. And then they get dismissed at 2:10?
2:05 is the dismissal for the high school. That's when the last buses are running out. So.
Okay.
So usually they're cleared out by 2:15.
Okay.
Okay, the next question also had to do with the Alpha Best and the high school. I think we just answered that one. So will there be some sort of orientation for kindergartners that will be riding the bus for the first time?
In the past, yes, we have had that as a part of our kindergarten orientation, and I would strongly encourage that. Again, that's something that we typically work on over the summer months with Durham Bus Company, but that is something we'd like to do, because we also like to have the opportunity for students to see the classrooms as well as parents to see that space. And we also do have a welcome back in a typical year. We have the afternoon before students arrive, we have kind of like a welcome back event where students can come into the building, drop off materials, meet their teachers, see their classroom, and based on what the Department of Health and the CDC provides us with guidance, I would more than welcome that opportunity for all of our students, because it's such a unique situation that we're finding ourselves in.
Okay, the next question is, the spreadsheet with the case numbers is not being updated anymore. How are the numbers now? I'm assuming they mean COVID.
So I'm so glad that my office is adjacent to the nurse's office, because we had a discussion yesterday, and across the state, not just Cumberland, across the state, there were 18 positive cases in the last couple of days. So that's part of the reason why, with people now being vaccinated and still having the precautions in place with hand washing and masking and social distancing, we have seen a significant decrease in any positive cases in the school system.
All right. The next question is, when is the first day of school this year?
I knew you would ask that. And Paula, do you have that? I don't even have it.
I do.
I'm pretty sure. Information.
I'm pretty sure it's the 30th, but I will look it up right now just to confirm.
Okay. And I have included the calendar, and I will continue to update that throughout the summer. But the calendar for the 2021-2022 school year has been included in my weekly update that I've sent out on Sundays.
So
I can
give you the next question, and then I can look it up while you're answering the next question. Okay.
Beautiful.
How about bus orientation for first graders who were 100% remote this past year and haven't been on a bus before?
I can't necessarily say that that's something that we will have an opportunity for. I'm not completely sure because I believe those students had the opportunity in the beginning of their kindergarten year to be on the bus prior to March 13th when everything was shut down.
Okay, I have an answer. The first day of school is scheduled for Monday, August 30th.
And Mrs. McMillan, you called it. So Monday, August 30th is the first day of school.
Okay. The next two that I just want to mention are comments. This is from a parent that I know is a bus driver. She just says that the bus times might be a little bit earlier because it does take longer to get to the transitional building, and also that the drop-off for the high school students is in the front of the main building and their pickup is in the back of the main building, which I think was kind of discussed earlier. So thank you, Mrs. Alden.
And that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's even better because that will not impact either drop off or pickup for Alpha Best in any way.
And the last question that I have so far is, it's kind of lengthy, so I'll read. Masks are not mandatory anymore, but since kids will not get vaccinated anytime soon, will the teachers and other school staff members keep the masks until the kids get the vaccine? Will all teachers be vaccinated, and how could the school check that? So a couple different questions there.
So at this point, I'm not sure where the information is coming about masks not being required, because as a district and according to the Department of Health and the Department of Education, at this point in Rhode Island, masks are still required in schools. So I'm not sure on that. In terms of vaccinations, there's a large debate that can we require staff? That is a question that is an excellent question. I believe that is not one that I am in my position to answer, because you get into confidentiality and individual rights. So that's one that perhaps I could bring up to the human resources director, Mrs. Duncanson, as well as the nurse coordinator, Mrs. Mazakowski. But I think those are great questions, and we can certainly follow up on those to share the information.
Okay, the next question is, will buses be provided for students who were not otherwise eligible earlier due to the proximity of the school?
Yes, because the transitional building is actually located 1.3 miles from Cumberland Hill. So any student who is in close proximity to Cumberland Hill is still outside of that walking distance. So all students, my understanding is all students who attend Cumberland Hill would have access to that. So the one question I have, and this is something I'll have to have a discussion with the superintendent, are families who opt to attend Cumberland Hill when that's not their home school. They typically have to provide transportation for their children. So we'll have to dig into that a little more.
And at this point, I think we have caught up to all questions, Mrs. Malcolm.
All right. And please know, I am taking a little bit of time off, the beginning of July. I will have access to email. I will be spending my summer at Ashton Elementary School with Mrs. Carbonic, who has graciously offered to let me hang out in her wonderful school for the summer because I don't have a place to work from. But that's okay. We're going back to when I tell you the plans for this building, it is going to be stunning. That's how I can explain it. But any questions, please email me, contact me. Our phones, I understand from Mr. Chandler, our phone number for the school, 658-1660, will be forwarded to the phones at Ashton. And you know, we're going to continue to provide as much information as we can, not only to the families, but to members of the community, as well as the staff, because it's yet another experience for all of us. So I welcome any and all questions. And if I don't know the answer, I will certainly make every attempt to get that information for you. Anything else?
I see no questions, Mrs. Malcolm.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you taking time out of this beautiful evening to just, ask some really great questions. And, we're coming to the end of one school year, but we'll be adventurous on the next one for sure. And I think it's going to be a really great opportunity for us to move forward. So thank you all, and have a wonderful night, and I wish you well.